but he is not available with us due to a very family matter. In his absence, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, our admin, will speak on the topic, and his topic is time management. Time management is a motivational speech, and it will be benefiting to everybody, to the scholars of all disciplines. And whenever any speaker remains absent on the spot, then Professor Pramod Kumar Das, or admin, the head Department of Philosophy, Rayagada Autonomous College, he is readily available with us to speak on any topic. So today, on behalf of Philosophy family, it is my pride privilege to welcome Professor Pramod Kumar Das to speech on this occasion. And he is a very extempore speaker, and he can speak on any discipline whenever we approach him. And our regular moderator, Dr. K. Umnara, is also with us. So once again, I offer my welcome. I convey my welcome to all of you, to all the scholars and teachers of philosophy and other disciplines of our country and abroad, to be with us on this academic platform. So with this, I don't want to spare much time. I request and welcome Professor Pramod Kumar Das to speak on the topic time management. Over to Professor Das.
Namaskar to all of you, respected Dr. Rao, Dr. Maharana sir, and very esteemed participants of this session. Actually, this was the session for Dr. Alok Tandon ji, but for some unavoidable situation, he could not speak. So I believe all who are present here, they were interested to listen, to attend the talk of Dr. Tandon. But we never try to stop our flow. We never try. Because that is also the wish of God. God desires that everything is the wish of God. So this is time management. If there is a crisis in time, and if we manage ourselves, if we manage our existence, if we manage the flow of our existence with the flow of time, then we can say that we have a sense of time management. So this is a very beautiful topic. I shall discuss not only time management, but also how it is related to stress management and how it is related to desire management. Time was a very important factor for Arjuna in the battlefield. When he felt reluctant to fight, I shall not fight. He decided to fight before the war. But in the very time of war and in the very place of a war field, he was disturbed. That means mind can be disturbed at a time when it should not be disturbed. A soldier should not be disturbed in battlefields. A driver should not be disturbed while driving. A teacher should not be disturbed while teaching. If you are disturbed at the time of doing your dharma, then you are not doing your swadharma. Swadharma means your duty in a particular place and time. If you are absent in a particular time, you are physically present, but psychologically you are absent. That means you are not doing your swadharma. This is the crisis. And this time crisis, the crisis of time management leads to stress management. So we shall discuss three types of time. For example, what is the metaphysics of time? Metaphysically, we can speak that there is no division in time. We have divided time according to our social needs. We have divided time according to our convention. So the past, present, and future, the clock time, the days of a month, days of a year, all these are man-made. This is calculated by man. For animals, there is no time. For plants, there is no time. That is not a fixed rule that 1 year is 365 days. 1 month is 30 days. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. It is articulated by us. In that sense, time is eternal. Time is infinite. This is metaphysics. Kala. There is no division at all. Space and time, even space is that. This is New Delhi, this is Mumbai. This is what we have made. This is India. We have named a geographical area, and that becomes our convention, and we manage with that name. That this is my house, this is my plot, this is my college, this is my address. So, so space and time, they are indivisible, they are infinite, metaphysically speaking. But when we connect time with events, we deal with the clock time, and it is very necessary. Otherwise, we cannot live in this world, in this practical world. So for our practical living, this conventional time, this clock time, this chronological time is necessary. Because we all believe the time setup. We all have a common convention, though there is difference. Indian time is different from American time. There is difference, still we are convinced. We are acquainted with that change. Therefore, in hotels and in different places, there are different watches reflecting the time of a different country. So this is the time through which we live our practical life. But the interesting point is, there is another time, that is psychological time. That is psychological time. That is our personal time. And all psychosomatic problems, disease, they are due to the mismanagement of, or the interference of, our own personal time, the psychological time that does not go with the clock time, the chronological time. What is that psychological time? So here we are discussing the psychic discipline, how we are involved in a particular event through a particular time. Every event takes place at a time and it ends in another time. By that, we can understand what is time. Beginning of an event and the end of an event, the gap is the time. The class starts at a time, the class ends at a time, the train begins at its journey at a time, the train reached at a time. So through the event, we can understand the gap of time, the interval of time, the progress of time, the flow of time. But what happens? Event takes place naturally according to the physical laws that takes place naturally at a particular time and it ends at a particular time. If we are psychologically involved in that event, then we should go with that event. Naturally, we don't. Very often we do not do that. We fail to do that. That means there is a problem in our involvement in a particular event. We desire many things to take place, and we also desire the continuity of that event. This is a psychological problem. Why do you like to like the continuity that the event should continue, the event should not end? Why? Because we like it. We like something. We like an event. Therefore, we desire its continuity. Suppose you dislike, suppose you don't like one event, then you desire its ending, that it should end immediately. Suppose you don't tolerate somebody's speech, you don't tolerate somebody's presence, you don't tolerate, that is your problem. That cannot change the presence of the person, or the happening of the event. But you desire that the event should stop here. So if you dislike, you desire to stop the event immediately, that it should not repeat. If it will repeat, then I shall be upset. I shall be in problem, psychic problem. And if you like that event, then you desire that it must continue. It must be repeated. The event must be repeated. Just you ask yourself whether this happens to you or not. This is a very common sense. This is common sense. This is not philosophy. Because we like some guests, we like their presence, we desire that they should continue. They should continue. They should stay with us. But they have to leave us. They have to go to their home after an interval. But we are not ready to welcome that departure. We accept that discontinuity. This is our problem. If we do not like the situation, if we do not like the events, then we desire that it should be stopped immediately. So event takes place chronologically, according to the flow of time. This is one thing. But our psychic response to the occurrence of the event is different. So this is the crisis of a man, each and every man, because we always live in our imaginary world. We don't live in our real world. We always live in our imaginary world. What I expect I like that world. I want to live in the world which is preferable to me, which is suitable for me. I am not ready to live in the world as it is. I want you to speak what I want, that you should speak like this. I am not neutral. I am not a clean observer. My mind is not stable. My mind is not neutral. I like you only because I prefer that you should speak what I like. Then you are a good friend. Then you are a good person. If you speak contrary to my choice, then I don't like you. That means I choose my world and I live in that world. So we all live in our personal world. And that world is managed by our psychological time. That means there are three situations. Event takes place, event ends in time. I enjoy the event, I am involved in the event, but I could not end my experience. Here comes the experience. Event takes place and it is experienced by me. So when I am the experiencer, when I am experiencing, my experience should end at the end of the event. If I prolong my experience psychologically, even if the event is lost or event has been stopped automatically, but I have not stopped it psychologically. I desire its continuity. So this is called psychological attachment. There is a beautiful um, there is a distinction between vastu and a visaya. Suppose we are attached to a vastu, we are attached to a particular object or a particular event which are physically available, that is vastu. It is available to us as an object and we are involved to it. But the problem is the involvement with vastu is not a problem. It's not a big problem. Even if the vastu is not there, we are involved with its visaya. Its visaya. That means vastu is absent. Vastu is finished. That event has already finished. But we have kept that in our mind as a memory. As a memory. That means the desire, the image, the subject is there. Many times we imagine the image of the object which was experienced before 10 days or 15 days or before 1 month. We continue that. That means if we are involved with the past memories, the past images, then naturally we fail to present in the present time. Because time is running, time is flowing. So we are not flowing in the flow of time only because at a particular time, at any time, we are attached to one event and we don't go ahead. That means there is no harmony between our psychic movement and the actual movement of the events. I am giving an example. Suppose in our daily life, we have a daily routine that what shall we do from the early morning to the late night? There is an agenda. Similarly, there is an agenda for our life also. In scriptures, it is said, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Banapastha, and Sannyasa. This is also an agenda of life. This is the time of a Brahmacharya, this is the time of a Grahastha, this is the time of a Banapastha, this is the time of a Sannyasa. So you have to end your course at a particular time. You cannot study PG for 10 years. You cannot do PhD for 20 years. Everything has a time limit. If you don't finish your experience within your time limit, then you are back. You are backward. You are running behind the schedule. You are running behind the time. So your movement and the movement of time should go hand in hand. If it is possible, then there will be no problem. And how can it be possible? If you are not unnecessarily psychologically attached to anything. That means you are beyond, you transcend both likes and dislikes. You have to transcend the dialectics of likes and dislikes. Unfortunately, if you like something or somebody, then that is a great problem for you, because that will break your flow. Maybe may not be. That depends upon your your stability. That depends upon the nature of your mind. So one should go beyond likes and dislikes, and one should focus on his duty. So this is my duty. This duty had a time limit. Within that time limit, I completed my duty. In the sense of duty, it is finished. Then I shall focus on the next duty in the next time. Then I can be called a karma yogi. Otherwise not. Otherwise not. If I don't have the time sense, if I don't know how to manage time according to the flow of the events, then I am not a good manager. That was the problem of Arjuna in the battlefield. Arjuna was confused. Arjuna had a Visada, but that was not the right place. That was not the right time to have a Visada. Because he should be oriented, properly oriented for war. So war field is not the right place to have any type of agony, any type of despair, any type of confusion, no, grief. So when Arjuna saw the relatives before him, that I am going to fight with my brothers, teachers, my relatives, then he was disturbed. But that was not the time. That was the time for war. So if you are not attending your duty, assigned duty, at your appropriate time, then you are doing paradharma. You are not doing your sadharma. That means you are doing the dharma of another time in this time. You should not be worried. You should not have any grief. You should not be confused in the examination hall. In the examination hall, you should be ready to write your answers. All preparations are finished before night. You should attend your examination with a clean mind. When you are driving your car, your mind should be absolutely free. If with an absent mind you are driving, so driving is a time. It is a time. So in the time of driving, you should drive. So if you do not attend an event in its appropriate time, then you are not doing karma yoga. That is not karma yoga. You are just doing karma. You are doing something mechanically, but that is not karma yoga. That cannot unite you to the supreme self. That will destroy you. That will be the cause of your destruction. This is very simple thing. This is very common sense. In our daily life, practical life, even if we do a small work, very small work. Suppose you are engaged with the homework of your child. Be a child. Be a child for half an hour, 1 hour. Don't do your mobile. Don't attend to TV or don't be engaged with your important calls when you are teaching your child. You give 100% concentration to the homework of the child. Then only that karma will become karma yoga. Otherwise not. Otherwise you did something mechanically. For the sake of doing you did. This is not karma yoga. So the time management and your child, what your child will learn from you, that my father is sitting before me, but he is absent-minded. He is not attending me. And the children are good observers. They observe us very meticulously. So we observe each other. How this person is working, how that person is working. So whenever we are doing our work, we should not interfere our psychological time. We should not superimpose. We should not superimpose our psychological time on the chronological time. Two possibilities are there. Event takes place. Event ends. Event ends at a time. And your experience ends accordingly. Imagine this is a situation. Suppose we have gone to a picnic or you have gone a family tour to a place. That happens to me many times. I am also affected. When usually I go to New Delhi, when I return, I can't come to my place. I stay in Delhi, even in my local place, because I can't forget those memories. I live in those memories. Mentally, I am there. Mentally, I am there, but physically, I am here. This happens. Physically, students are in the classroom, but psychologically, they are in different places. So our body and the mind, they exist at two places. Therefore, when we experience an event, that experience should end at the end of the event. If this is happening in your life, then you will see that you are in the right path. You are in the right path. And what is the other way? The other way is events ends at a particular time, but your experience does not end there. You hang over the imagination, the results of that action, that event. That will happen. So the thought of the consequence is also part of that. Whenever we are doing our duty, we think over the consequence in advance. In advance, we think over the consequence. Thinking about consequence is not bad, because without thinking, we cannot do any work. We should have that orientation. We should have orientation we should have our planning. Otherwise, we can't do any action. But we should not be disturbed by that consequence. That means we should not be disturbed by the past memories, and we should not be disturbed by the future anxieties. But unfortunately, what happens to us, many of us, we are not present in the present. We are always found either in the past or in the future. We are disturbed by our past memories, and we are also disturbed by our future anxieties. And these both the past and the future are nothing but illusions. They are illusions because past is lost. Past is lost. We don't forget the contribution of the past. Whatever we have got, we have got. But we have to focus on the present because time is flowing. The interesting thing is time is flowing. And according to time, my life is flowing. Everything is flowing, but I am static. I stand still with my past memory because I don't want to move, because I don't want to end my experience. That means I don't want to be detached from my attachments. Attachment is not bad, but we have to know how to be detached from our attachments. If we do not know this technique, detachment from attachment, then we cannot be attached to the next assignment. That means bhoga is not bad. We have to enjoy everything. We have to do anything. We should have attachments. We should have kamana. But that kamana should not become our vasana. That attachment should not be our bondage. So attachment through detachment means we should know how to detach from any attachment. Any attachment. So in Bhagavad Gita it is called Swadharma. Suppose, and all Swadharmas are illusions because you are nobody. When you are doing, you are playing different roles like father, teacher, brother, etc., etc. All these roles are illusions from the Vyavaharika Satta, from the Paramarthika Satta. Because you are everybody, but you are also nobody. You are that unmanifest. You are that formless. But you are playing different roles according to the necessity. Because you have to live in this practical life. You have to play the role of a father. You have to play the role of a citizen. You have to play the role of a brother. You have to play different roles. That is Swadharma. But all your Swadharmas are illusions when you identify yourself as the formless, as Mr. Nobody, that you are that formless. So this wisdom will enable us, will groom our minds in the direction of a detachment. That yes, I am doing my work, this is an attachment, but I am not this. I am doing this, but I am not this. I have this, but I am not this. Doing this is not I am that. Having this is not I am that. What I have, I am not. What I do, I am not. But by ignorance, what we assume that whatever I have, I am. Suppose I have a building. Suppose I have 100 buildings. Then I am a rich person. Suppose I have a mind. Then I am my mind. Suppose I have intelligence. I am intelligent. This is the wrong identity. So the greatest crisis of a man is the crisis of identity. We are suffering from crisis of identity. We do not know our identity. We are running after our false identity because of our false attachments or false psychological attachments. We live in our imaginary world. We live in our subconscious world. All the time we are subconscious only. We are not conscious. We pretend to be conscious, but actually we are subconscious. We are not alert. Every moment, whenever we are eating, we are watching TV, we are thinking of this, thinking that. We are reading a book, we are engaged in different types of thoughts. If different types of thoughts, they enter into your mind, whenever you are doing a particular work, that you will see that you are not stable. Your mind is not stable. Your mind is flexible. That should not be. So we should be very loyal to time. We should be very grateful to time. We should be very obedient to time. So time is flowing, my life is flowing, I am flowing through this life. So every action should be done in a very calculated manner, mathematical calculation. And what is the advantage? What is the advantage? I am giving you a demonstration. Suppose you are the best person and I am the loser. Why I am a loser? Because I failed to end my experience at the end of the event. So this is my failure. I admit this. I enjoy more and more. I desire the continuity of an event. If that is a good moment, I shall never desire that this moment should go away. If you love your guests, you will desire that that guest will come to your house and will stay in your home repeatedly. That is attachment only. That is only attachment. Even the attachment between mother and son. So there should be a departure in a relation. Even if you love your son, love your daughter, you may love him or her from the core of your heart, but so far as time is concerned, so far as dharma is concerned, so far as the betterment of the child is concerned, you have to maintain the detachment. Yes, if my son is going for a higher study, and he will have to stay in the distant place in the hostel, and I have to tolerate the departure. I have to tolerate that. If you are not able to tolerate the departure, that means that is your attachment. That attachment is bad. Even if that attachment is for your wife, for your husband, for your child, for anybody. Even for your study also. Even for your study. If you are studying, that has also a rule. You cannot study overnight. Those who study overnight, at the cost of their sound sleep, they are fools. Because mind has a capacity to receive. Don't read more maximum time. Who reads maximum time? Those who are fools, they read maximum time. Vivekananda was not reading maximum time. He was just looking at the pages and he was understanding everything. Because you nurture your mind in such a way that at a glance you can understand. Suppose you are hearing a speaker. Suppose you are hearing to a speaker, it is not necessary that you will strain your mind to focus on the talk. No, not casually, very casually you can hear and you can understand because your mind is so groomed. And you can understand the speech of the speaker before he speaks. You will say, now he will be speaking like this. Oh, now what will happen? So these things will take place so that is the nature of a good student in the classroom. The student knows what the teacher will speak in the next. This is the miracle of our minds. We are endowed with such a powerful mind that we should know the use of minds, and that is yoga. Because mind is the only instrument. Mind is the only instrument that binds you and that liberates you. If you are in bondage, that is through your mind. If you are liberated, We are free. That is through your mind. Because we don't have a second instrument. We have only one instrument, and that is mind. So if you are studying, then you don't study for at the cost of your sleep, at the cost of your guests. No, it is not necessary. You watch. I always advise my students. You watch TV. You mix with your friends because and whenever you are studying for 1 hour or 2 hours, kindly focus on that. At that time, you give justice to your study. But the moment you are watching TV, give justice to watching TV. Enjoy whatever you see in the TV, the television. Suppose you are watching a reality show, enjoy that. You become the judge how the participants are singing. Like that, also your mind will be exercised because the purpose is the exercise of mind in a positive direction. It is not that how much you learn. It is very important. It is very important how much you grasp. How much you grasp. It is not important how much you eat. It is very much important that how much you can digest. So your digesting power is very important. So your accumulating power, your understanding power should be enriched. So by proper understanding, you will transcend to proper realization. And ultimately, you shall have transformation. If you do not transform day by day, if you are today what you were before 10 years, then your education has no meaning. If you are inferior, what you were before 10 years, then you are not progressing. So education means transformation. Education means transformation. That we should transform day by day, day by day. Therefore, brahmacharya, grahastha, banaprastha, and the ultimate transformation is sannyasa. Sannyasa is a time when you should not have any attachment to the worldly allurements. You should not have. The moment you are living the life of sannyasa, you should not have asakti for grahastha. If you have, then you have not transformed. If you have, then you have not passed your time properly. So, if you are in your school time, kindly enjoy your school time. Give justice to your school time. Enjoy it because this time will not come again. If you are in the college time, kindly enjoy your college time because this time will not come. Everything shall pass away. Every time shall pass away and it will not come again. So the moment I live this life, I shall live it fully. I shall live it fully. I shall give 100% justice to the present moment because this time will pass away. This is one truth. And the second truth is this will not come again. Suppose this will pass away and will come again, then there is no problem. Oh, it is going and it will come. What is going will not come again. So this every time is precious for me, every moment is precious for me, every event is precious for me, and every person is precious for me. Every person. Suppose now I am talking to all of you, you all are very much precious to me because I am engaged with you biologically, psychologically, and spiritually. You are my friends now. So psychologically, I am connected with you because I am talking to you. Nobody is seen. Nobody is seen. I can't see anybody here over my mobile screen, but I feel your presence. And this feeling is possible because of my justified involvement. Justified involvement is necessary, and it is possible by the sense of a vairagya, by the sense of a detachment. So, what is the crisis? The crisis is that events end, events end, events end, but we do not end our experience. I am giving a very peculiar example. Suppose there are two sisters, very closely related. They are very good friends. But what happens after their marriage? They become envious of each other. They become jealous of each other. That you have so many things I don't have. If I have this, you have the better. So they try to compete with each other. If something is told by one sister to another sister before 10 years, one sister has remembered it. You have told me before 10 years, and what she had told you before 10 years, you have remembered it. You have remembered it. You are so poor. You don't have any other agenda. So how can you develop your relationship? If you remember the ugly things, ugly instances of your life with anybody else, even if you are good friends. So that is the problem. I am giving an example when Lord Buddha was giving sermon to his disciples. What happened in one evening? A drunkard man came and he spat on the face of the Gautam Buddha, and he scolded in slang language to Lord Buddha. So all the disciples were worried. They were waiting for the signal that if Lord Buddha will allow, then they will beat that person. But Lord Buddha said, "No, excuse him because he does not know what he is doing." And that person left the place. Next day, at the same time, when Buddha was giving sermon, that fellow came again. So everybody thought that he will repeat the same mistake again. He will again misbehave. He will again spit on the face of Buddha. But he pardoned. He pardoned before Lord Buddha, and he said, Lord, please excuse me. I am sorry for my mistakes, what I had done yesterday. You know what Buddha said? Buddha said, you are not the same person who spat on my face yesterday, and I am not the same person who was insulted by you. If you were the same person, you could not have, we could not have, uh, um, you could not have behaved like this because you have been changed. You are not the same person. This is the mindset of a man. Because but we remember what you said, what you had said before 10 years. So we have to understand if everything is changing and at every moment we are transforming from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness, then we should not mistake the identity. That you are the same person what you were yesterday. This is a mistake. This is a misconception. With this, we can have a very good understanding, fellow feeling, and very positive attitude for our friends and relatives. So the point is, our mind is everything. Our mind is everything because we interfere. Our mind interferes. The world that we perceive is our subjective world only. We do not perceive the objective world. What exactly the objective world, nobody can say. Whatever you will say only that world which is thought by you, which is experienced by you, which is imagined by you, which is expected by you, that I expect this world, I expect this situation. So we are all living in our imaginary world. If this is true, then let us have a good imagination. Let us have a good dream. Let us have good orientation in our life. So this is time management. If we really believe in time, I said that time is metaphysical. There is no time at all. Time is eternal. If at all we believe in time from the social perspective, from our practical life perspective, then we should give justice to our time. Time means time through events. So if time is related to events, then our when event takes place, our experience of the event should end accordingly. If it does not end, then we shall suffer. We shall suffer from the attachment. And we can link this talk to the pratyahara. I have already told that pratyahara means to withdraw your mind, withdraw your mind from uh, from a from a given situation, or we can withdraw. Yes, mind is engaged. Mind is engaged very meticulously in a particular situation, in a particular time. But another time demands my withdrawal, my withdrawal. So, we have to become a good observer that how I am engaged in a time of involvement and in a time of withdrawal. That at a particular time, as I am getting involved in a particular event, similarly in another time, I should know the technique of being withdrawn from that event. If I am only involved and I do not know how to come out of the box, then I am in a bondage. If I am only detached from the event, then I cannot do any karma. So for doing karma, attachment is necessary. But for continuity with time, detachment is necessary. So the harmony between the attachment, detachment, that should be nurtured and cultured by each and everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, for your instant and extempore speech on the time management in absence of Dr. Alok Tandon sir. Today, your reflective thought and presentation on the time management from metaphysical and empirical dimensions has really inspired all of us. And you have said very beautifully that how time management is a very precious value of that is for all of us while doing any action and at any crisis of our life. You have also very intelligently synthesized the time with action to treat it as karma yoga. And you have said so many things. You have also discussed on the transformation of different stages of our life, and it is also inspiring us. And through your discussion, you have uh, you have taught the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, the teaching of yoga, and the teaching of um, Buddhism to discuss on the philosophy of time. And you have also said how the flow and consequences of time has regulated our life, and we have also the limitation to understand the time, and so many things you have told. Now, thanks for the presentation. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. K. Omnan Rao to carry on the discussion. Over to Dr. Rao.
Namaskar, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Maharana. Well, it was immediate arrangement. Actually, the talk was scheduled for Dr. Alok Tandon sir, but due to some problems at his end, he could not deliver. It is a stopgap arrangement. Professor Das tried to keep this series, Sunday series going on. That's why he did not discontinue. But anyway, we had good number of participants, and I could see after a long time Dr. TPS is with us. Maybe when he joined, I don't know, but I find him here. So it's on time management, and Dr. TPS is a great expert on this, and he can speak on this, so that he can enlighten all of us on this issue. So at first, let us move to Dr. TPS to have his ideas, to express his ideas, so that we learn from him the significance of time management. Over to Dr. TPS. Sir, namaskar, sir.
Namaste, namaste.
Sir, please. Namaskar.
Namaste, sir.
I'm just
Namaste, sir.
I'm just putting my video on. Yeah. Namaskaram. I joined very just now. That's it. I missed the major portion of the lecture. I don't know what to add. Do you think I have to add something?
Your
Yes, sir.
own
Yes, sir.
time management, your own views, because you did not join. Okay, your ideas, your views on time management, sir.
Yeah, as my brother Narayan Rao told me, one subject which I don't give lecture probably is time management.
Okay.
The reason is I can manage something only when it is in my control. We believe that time is not in my control, right? So how do I manage it? So actually what we are managing is the activity. How do I manage my activity so that 24 hours can be filled? Many people have the complaint, I don't have time, I don't have time. I keep saying, I am not busier than Prime Minister of India. He also has 24 hours, I also have 24 hours only. So how is it I am putting my activities into? So normal example given is, I have a bottle, the mouth is not narrow, maybe a tumbler like this, in which I have to put 3 tennis ball can be put. 4, no, because it's full, right? Then I can put that small goalie, I can put it inside and then shake it, it will go inside. Is it full is the question. So it's not full. I can take sand and put it. Sand will find its space in between. And then it's not still full. I can pour water. The water will find ways to get inside. So the 24 hours can be filled by major activities, minor activities, my passion, my hobby, and I still have time for somebody else to take care. So it all the way I fill it. Assume that I fill water first, then sand, then pebbles, then I will say I can put only 1 basketball or maybe the tennis ball. That means another 2-3 balls will be balanced. So the way you give priority to things, the way you fill in the time in between, that makes us to make our time properly utilized, creatively utilized, and prioritization. This means I am prioritizing. So that prioritization is what is essentially required. This is what generally I speak on. Though I also use the word time management, I know because it's more popular, I am using the word. Otherwise, it's activity management, which I generally speak. So I don't think I have anything more to add. Thank you. Thank you for this kindness.
Thank you very much, sir, for this example. Very nicely said that we should decide our priorities. We should see what are more important in life. So those are to be filled first, and we can have space for smaller things later on. If we still,
I'm not skipping philosophy program because I am I am not having interest. But I had a meeting just now finished from 5:30 to 7:30. As soon as 7:29 or 28 it was over, as soon as that I joined here.
Sir.
So
So
all the
nice of
time
you, sir.
scheduled.
So nice of you for giving these examples to decide the priorities should be filled first so that we can have space for the lesser things later on. So we are
Yes.
giving time to everything. So that is how time can be managed. Very nicely said. It's a beautiful example. Now
Thank
we
you.
have with us Srivastav, sir. Professor Srivastav. Let us move to him. Sir, you were there throughout the lecture. Well, some observations from your side, sir. Professor Srivastav. Well, he's there. Well, I think he is there. Yes, Professor Srivastav. Sir, please unmute, sir. Maybe you are put on. Yes, now. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, as Professor Shashi Kumar was not here, so is with me because I came when he was speaking. And in fact, I couldn't listen a single syllable by Alok Tandon or whosoever was speaking here. But I have heard Professor Shashi Kumar, and he has given a lot of ideas to me because uh, he is telling that I cannot, time is not maintained. I have to maintain my works and all these things. To my mind, if you don't maintain if you do not manage the time will manage you. Because we live in three states. Time is a threefold: present, past, and future. But I live in present. Past is in our memory because when I think of past, it is the present memory. And if I think of future, it is our present expectation. And what you will have to do, you will have to do in the present only. So, what happens if you are consumed in the work? If you are doing the work skillfully, you are managing the time and managing the work as well. That's why it has been said, Yoga Karamashu Kausalam. Because if you are doing the work skillfully and very nice way, you are managing the time as well. And the reason is very simple. The yoga is not finished here. Samatvam yoga uchyate, because for skillful doing, you will have to be in balance. Neither you are driven by the future nor you are dragged by the past. If you will have to be present and full concentration will be there. And unless and until you are present in the present, you are not going to manage the time nor you are going to manage the work. And that's why it is better to do the work diligently, not, but skillfully, and be present in the time. It means when you are doing, neither you are detracted by the future or the past, and then your mind is concentrated. Yoga, then what will happen? The samatva will come, and the time management will start. So this is what I understood uh, by the talk given by Shashi Kumarji. It is my reaction to his talk only, not because I have not heard uh, Alok Tandonji earlier. So I'm sorry I cannot reflect more on that.
No, sir.
Thank
Actually,
you, sir.
today the talk was scheduled for Dr. Alok Tandon, sir, but he could not attend because he could not deliver his lecture because he had some problems at his end. So, Professor Pramod Das, he talked on time management. Well, whatever you have said now, that this has been said by Professor Das. Well, he wants us to be in the present in
Yeah.
order. The managing the present is the best form of management of time because
Sure.
past and future will always distract you and keeps away your focus from the present, and that is always dangerous. And that's what even Professor Das was highlighting during the course of his lecture. Well, I could see Anurima Bhattacharya, madam, she is there. Dr. Bhattacharya, Professor Bhattacharya, please. I could, yes, she is there.
Yes. Good evening and namaste, sir. Uh, Sir, actually, I felt like saying that every moment I live in the present, everything I do right now is connected to whatever I've done in the past. So I cannot really live absolutely in the present unless I go back to my past. So living exclusively in the present moment is like impossible for me. and is like not possible also. You cannot live the present unless you connect yourself to the past, or you cannot do anything unless you connect to whatever you have done in the past. So how is it that you live exclusively in the present? I don't understand. Please, sir.
Well, Professor Das, yes, Professor Das, are you there? Yes.
I listened to Dr. TPS sir, Abnesh Srivastavaji, and Honorma Madam. When we are discussing about, I was discussing about time management. What Dr. TPS said, it is not for him. That means it is not for a karma yogi like TPS. I was talking about the crisis of a common man. You may take the example of Arjuna also.
Sir, speak bit loud, sir. Not so much clear.
Yes. When what Dr. TPS said, and the example he gave, that was for him because he is a karma yogi. He is a very mature mind. But what I was telling, I was talking about the crisis of a common man. How a common man fails to manage time and maintain harmony between the flow of time and flow of events. I was talking about the attachment towards the event. Event starts and event ends. But our experience should end at the end of the event. Should end. But because we like the event, we desire its continuity. Because we dislike the event, we desire that this event should be stopped now. So we superimpose our psychological time on the chronological time. We don't go with the events. We are too much attached, or we are very quick to be detached. That is our problem. This is a problem of a common man. This is not a problem for the wise persons like Srinivasamji or Srivastavaji or Dr. Rao or others. It is not for wise persons. A common man like Arjuna in the battle, because Arjuna was confused in the battlefield at the time of war, because that was not the time for confusion, that was the time for war. He should fight. He was confused because he had the gravitational pull of the past memories, that they are my brothers, they are my teachers. He was remembering the relations, and he was excited by the future anxieties. What will happen after this fight? The consequences. So if you are in the present, but you are not giving justice to the present, if you are worried about your past memory, you are disturbed by your past memories, and you have space, you have that space in your mind, and you have space for the future anxieties, then some space for the present are lost in the present, and you cannot be a karma yogi. Karma yogi means this time, this work, this should be done for the sake of my duty, because I am doing my duty in the sense of duty only, and the next moment my swadharma will be changed. As the time will be changed, swadharma will be changed. So if we do not change ourselves, if we do not change our priority according to the change of time, then that is our personal agenda. To what I shall give priority, to what I shall not give priority, that is the personal agenda of my personal schedule, because I am so and so. So I have 1,000 engagements, assignments. So I shall choose my priorities. That is natural. But once you are engaged in a given situation, whether you are detached from that situation at the end of the situation or not, that is that we were discussing. Attachment through detachment. So what Professor Srivastavaji said, without hearing to me, exactly I had told that in my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. What Anurama Bhattacharya wanted to say is what I could understand from
Yes.
her
What
question.
Anurama Bhattacharya said that
Mhm.
that she is unable to be present in the present without being pulled
Connecting.
by the past
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
and hanged on the future.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
This is the situation of a common man. I am telling that. That
Yes,
is the
yes, yes.
problem.
No, no, but why the problem? I think why the problem is a problem for all, because what I could see from her question is actually you made a distinction between the psychological time and the biological time or the physical time. Okay, now you talked of the likes and the dislikes. So you said the psychological time and the physical time, they go hand in hand, or there lies a parity when the event is somewhat likeful to us. When we love the event, the psychological event has a parity with the physical time. We enjoy the event and there lies a parity. But when there is a dislike, the psychological time wants to stop. Okay, it want to move, it want to skip. So there is no parity between when there is a event is there lacks there lacks a parity between the psychological and the physical time. The problem is, you see, even though the event has ended, but but still that event continues. So that's the problem that she has. The psychological time has not
I told
ended
that.
in one
That is
case.
the problem. That is the problem I am dealing with.
Okay,
That should not be.
okay.
If
So
event ends, suppose you are on a picnic party, picnic over, your enjoyment should over there. You should be the next day you have exam duty. Next day you have an interview. So you should focus on that. Dr. TPS said that you have to jump to your next priority. When you are
yes,
enjoying your picnic, that is your priority. But
yes,
after you return from picnic, you have a national talk. So you will forget. You have to forget that picnic enjoyment. You have to give 100% focus on that talk.
okay,
Otherwise you can't talk. Otherwise you can't speak.
okay. The
This
problem
is
that I
called this is called
yes,
detachment from the past attachment. Past does not mean past life. Past does not mean the 1 month, 2 months. Past means even the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, before 1 hour. All the moment you should be alert. Otherwise you can't drive your car. Otherwise you can't do anything at all. If you are not present in the present, that is concentration. If that is dhyana. This is the point.
That, that's why that's why it is said yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Because what happens,
That's
you
exactly
run about
see, that's
everything. Indrayanang hi charanta yanmano vidhiyate tadasya haranti pragyan vayurnavai ambisi. So what happens the moment you start running after the indriyas, the thought process and all these things? So what will happen? We are going on brooding and being happy and so many things. The time is managing there. I am not managing the time is managing me. So, in order to manage the time, you will have to be present, and how to be in present, it has already been said by Maharshi Patanjali, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The psychological time, if you curtail them, the broodings and thinkings and the thought process, you will be in the present. And I had been to Vietnam because that was my last visit. Because of Corona, I couldn't go there in 21 and 22. For last 4 years, I was visiting there. They have developed a new things. And that is the process, that whenever you do anything, you remember that I am doing this. And for that, you will have to concentrate your mind. And they have just they have just uh, started a practice, Om Mani Padme Hum. You will chant all the time and concentrate on that. And then you start doing, what will happen? You will be concentrated to your work only. And in my school age, I have just read a story rather. There was a king, he wanted to have a time management. What is the best time? What is the best work? And what is the best person to be talked with? So he went to the saint. The saint was doing certain things. He was plowing in the farm. He said, well, you have come, you do this work. The king started doing this work. He started plowing. Then what happened? After half an hour, some person came that the bandit who wanted to kill you, he has been caught. Thereafter, he went to the saint and he said, the time you met me, I was the best person, I was the right person. The work I given you was the best right work, because if you were not there, you would have been killed. And the the thing you were asking me, what was the worst thing, you are doing it. So be in time, be in present, and whatever the work you are assigned with, you do it honestly. That stories tell like that. And for that, the concentration of mind is essential. That's why Sri Krishna says, don't run after the thoughts, because the thoughts are running after the indriyas, and they will drag you at so many places in past, present, and future. So when you do a particular work, if you want to manage the time, you be in present, neither in past nor in future, as Professor Das has said, rightly observed. So this is the way we can, if we curtail our thought process and do the work, I am concentrated to that only, then and then only, I will never be dragged to the past, I will never be dragged to the future. You will have to be in present only. This is the process that can help you in managing the time. Otherwise, the time will manage you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, now the debate is now two things. Yes, sir. Coming to you, sir. Now the debate is, well, Professor Das says the psychological time has to be lost in the physical time. But Anurima Bhattacharya says, when it's a likeful event, when the event you love, then the psychological time expands. Okay, but when the event is not being liked by you, the psychological time, it contracts, but the physical time remains the same. But Professor Das says, no, the psychological, for a wise man, the psychological time has to be lost in the physical time. The problem that I see in Anurima Bhattacharya for raising this question is, during the course of lecture, Professor Das said, past and future, they constitute an illusion. So that's again a problem, because we have lived it. So to term the past as illusion is problematic, number one. And every moment, the next moment, okay, the next moment is my future, and I have lived it. So again, to say the future is the illusion is problematic. So we can say, do the best in the present. The best way to do is to live in the present, that we can say. But to rate the past and the future as an illusion, that becomes problematic. And that I see a problem in Dr. Aniruma. So, well, this is my understanding, taking the situation into the entire course of the debate. Now, let's move to Dr. TPS for his observations.
Yeah, beautifully summarized probably by Om Narayanji. What is experience? Experience is two types. Once you look at physical activity, work, it is skill. So experience should give you okay, I have great experience of talking on some subject. So my expectation is I am going to perform well. But the time is different. Audience are not same. Here, the experienced people are there. So in front of an experienced people, my experience become, Is it a physical experience or an emotional experience? Oh, I feel terribly I lost because I could not sum up. So I don't have experience at all. So what you have past experience. I felt that my past experience is my command over the subject where I can deliver a lecture. But that experience did not work because in the first itself I am cut off by a great experienced person. So I am now in what experience? I am a psychological experience of distress. So how my action will be? My action will not be like a wise person with all that what Srivastava was telling was chitta vritti nirodha. I don't think about what happened earlier. I should no, that will not happen because we are not the so-called experts in this world. We are not Arjuna. We are not Krishna. We are a very common man, as Dasji was telling. So what is our action now? Every moment our action is experiment. There is no action at all. So the first thing, my past experience, it starts with E. The past experience makes me to do some experiment for my actions now. So there is no action, it's only experiment. We cannot talk about high philosophical word like, karma, so kaushalam and all that. Everybody learned Bhagavad Gita. But that knowledge is also experiment only. It is my interpretation is entirely different from somebody's interpretation. No, actually, Chitta Vritti Nirodha itself is a great thing for maybe Patanjali. When it comes to Ramana Maharshi, he has diluted the whole thing. Because you cannot experiment, you cannot think about the past, future and all is wonderful. No. Ramana Maharshi says it's like Jala Pakshivat Dina Rodhanam. Prana Bandhanat Liyate Mana. You can control your manas and control your breath so that your mana will be, chitta will be controlled. He says it's not possible at all for common people. It's like only putting a bird in the nest. So my past experience will always haunt me because my life is always experimented. I had one great accident. So my driving is an experiment every moment, every day. I am seeing a lot of past experience by many drivers on the road. So how can I drive without being careful? No, I have to be present. And that driving itself is an experiment. Though I am an experienced driver, because I have a psychological experience of listening, my brain, my knowledge, everything is haunting me all the moment. What is my expectation now? When I talk about all this, my expectation is, oh, I have done a great job. So my expectation is my future. Again, another E. So there is a saying, the past E, the experience, runs my present experiment with an expectation of, again E, of what will happen in the future. So what is that we are doing? What is action? Action is only using my experience in my experiment to achieve a great expectation. So as soon as I have done the job, that becomes a past. And then it tells me, yo, you have not done good. So who is my enemy? My own buddhi says, the way I spoke is not good. My own manas says, no, I am not good. I am not an Atmiya Purusha where my buddhi and manas will not conflict. So every moment I speak also, I have a conflict inside me. By structuring the sentence, by structuring the concept, I have a confusion inside me. Should I agree with Anurima? Should I agree with Das? Should I agree with Narayan Rao? Should I agree with Srivastava? This confusion is what is making me to frame my expectation is what? I am going to perform fantastic. Oh, at the end of the sentence, I found I am terribly lost. So that will haunt me for framing the next. So we are all living, we are not that Atmiya Purusha where I have reached at the highest level. No, I have not reached at the highest level. Right. So what happens is I will have conflict inside. That conflict is a psychological conflict. Maybe a blind person who doesn't care about all these, common people will be able to work fantastic without any problem. We have a little brain, that creates problem. We have little heart, bondage is not required. At least some attachment to people is good enough. Bondage is the worst. So the bandhanam is what is generally used in Bhagavad Gita, and we translate it as attachment. Actually, it is not attachment. If I don't have attachment, I will not even attend this program. If I don't have attachment, I will not even answer this. So attachment is different and bandhanam is different. So uddharen atmanatmanam atmanam avasadhayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. My conflict is because my own manas is conflicting with my brain. My brain and manas is conflicting. That's my problem. And another one, what is chipt with the full of mind? What we want is peace of mind. Right? Where is peace of mind when mind itself is a thought, full thought? The thought itself makes me upset and collect all the experience junk with me so that I cannot be in peace. So the word peace of mind itself is a misnomer. Mind cannot be peace. So how can you have a bad, good thing in the world? Bad and good are contradicting each other. Similarly, peace and mind are contradicting and conflicting each other. So nobody can have peace of mind. I can either have a full mind or empty mind. The other day I was talking about mindfulness program. I was called for a teacher's training program, how mindfulness can be used. I said, you are all stupid. Mindfulness gives you no free, no thoughts. We are beyond self and time. So I can only be an empty-minded person. When I'm an empty-minded person, I can reflect. Shankara said, Manam Darpana Samanam. I have nothing when I came and joined here. So I started reflecting on what I heard. That's what I'm doing. So reflection doesn't have impressions. When I have impressions, I have a problem. My impression is, oh, this person is a great speaker. So then what happens? I will not even contradict. I will not conflict. I will not think. I accept whatever he says. That is not part of Bharatiya Shastram. Bharatiya Shastram always believe in starting like a mirror, reflect on ideas. So reconstruct and construct internally. So everything is an experiment. My learning, what I spoke maybe in the beginning is not what I'm speaking today. Just after 10 minutes, I'm a changed person. My experience is different because the subject itself got into a different burthen, not the burthen what I started, right? Because I had no connection. Understood? So I was taking a physical vessel to fill it. Now I am not taking a physical vessel. I am taking the manas as my vessel and trying to put to that gum. Gum is the vessel with either sukham or dukham. That is my experience. Okay. It's a beautiful topic. Nice. Thank you for making this active.
Sir, by mindfulness, it is normally said to be present in the time and be alert of the time, not mindfulness. The mind is full with the ideas. It is not the thing. Mindfulness means that you are present in the time, in the present, in the moment, and moment is passing every minute, every second. So naturally, if you are alert of the changing of the time, you are mindful of that. You are mindful that you are doing this work, and you are mindful that this is being happening in me, and these changes are taking. So if you are mindful, it means you are in present and you are aware of the work that you are doing, and in that way you are managing the time, not the time is managing. You are right, sir. Thank you for a nice deliberation and spotting light on the in a different way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. TPS, Dr. Professor Avinash Srivastav, and Anurama Bhattacharya, madam. And let's move to Professor Das for his line of thinking. Okay, let's move to Professor Das. Yes, sir.
I am simply saying very simple thing. If you have a mind,
Sir, please voice, sir, voice.
I am speaking very simple thing, that be the observer of the activities of your mind. Whether your mind is running towards past or running towards the future or engaged in the present. For that, you have to be the observer of the mind. If you are in the if you are in the mind, in the process of the mind, in the flow of mind, then you have no freedom. You are not free. You have to be biased by past because you have likes and dislikes. You have your own orientation. As you are oriented, so you are guided and misguided. So likes and dislikes both are illusions. Event is event. Don't like it and dislike it. That is your superimposition. So you just the observer of your mind. Who will observe it? So there is something beyond the mind that will observe. This is our Indian culture. In India, mind is not the final point. So mind will observe the mind. So the higher mind will observe the lower mind. Symbolically, we can say Lord Krishna is a mind, represents a higher mind, and the Arjuna represents a lower mind, confused mind. Situation is the same war field where Arjuna is confused, Lord Krishna is not confused. Arjuna and Lord Krishna are only symbols. We have two different minds. One mind is in one Upanishad it is said, two birds are sitting on a tree. One bird is enjoying and another bird is watching. So be a good observer. It's a very simple thing. It is not a great yoga at all. What Dr. TPS was telling now very meticulously, I am asking the very simple question. The moment you are talking, are you being worried about your past? No. Anything future? No. You are giving your 100% in this present that you are now talking. You are arranging your thoughts. You are trying to convince us. You are trying to give a message. I am simply saying that. The moment you are speaking, you are speaking. If at the moment of speaking you think that you are speaking, then you have karta bhava. You have that ego. If at the moment of speaking you think that I shall win, then you have the attachment for the consequence. But you are not doing that. You are simply talking for the sake of wisdom. That yes, it should be said. I should share my thoughts. If this is done at the present, then this is karma yoga. Maybe it's very small work, very little work, but that should be done with a kausalam. Yoga karmesu kausalam. I don't think about the great war like Arjuna will fight. That is a great work. Very small work. I am driving my car. So I should have mindfulness. That means I should be very much alert while I am driving. When I am teaching in the classroom, I should be engaged with my students, with their emotions, with their sentiments, with my topic. This much. Class is over, you should be over. If you are in family, give justice to your wife, your child. If you are talking to your servant, give justice to him. So you have to jump from one priority to another priority in the language of Dr. TPS, or you can jump from one station of duty to another station of duty in the language of Srivastavaji. Then you are a free person. If you can't jump, if you are bound by your past memories and your future agonies or anxieties, then the purpose of life is lost. So the point is, who will do this? This is not everybody's cup of tea. Therefore, I am telling that education is meant for this. Education is meant for self-transformation. That gradually we are transforming. Suppose you have scaled 5 steps, I have scaled 3 steps, Dr. Rao has scaled 2 steps, And somebody, for example, Vivekananda and Aravinda, they have scaled so many steps. So we are in the different ladders of transformation. And that is the purpose of education. So we should be the observer of our minds. A student should be like that. A teacher should be like that. A soldier should be like that. Everybody, whenever we are doing our Swadharma, we should do it very mindfully. If we do not know how to use our mind in the present situation, and if we let it be attached to unnecessarily, I don't think that there should be necessary attachment also. Without past experience, we cannot have any past experience is also necessary. But we should not be biased by our imaginary worlds, our subconscious unnecessary attachments. Generally, we do that. We always remember that how many audience were there in my talk, where I am talking, and what is the outcome of my talk, how many fans I have. All these things are our imaginations that will disturb our present duty. The moment I am doing something, I should do my action with 100% honesty, 100% justification. If I am not doing that, then I am not a karma yogi. I am just doing my karma, but not a karma yogi. I am not. This is my very humble submission. And this is a half of my talk. This is the nursery stage. Mind will be so groomed that it can go reverse in time. That means how quickly you get detached from the events. This is tantra. This is the next sadhana. From till this, we came to know that mind can be in present. Once this is achieved, this state is achieved, then we can apply that mind in different as technology. We can apply that mind for doing different spiritual sadhana. Whatever you will desire, that will happen. Whatever you will desire, that will happen. So kamana will become sankalpa. So this is the second part. I am not discussing that. But the very simple thing is, we all have a mind. Mind is naturally prone to the attachment of past and future. It is natural. But because we are human beings, we have human possibility to check our mind, to control our mind, to transcend the limits of our mind, so that we can have better mind. Therefore, we all have different types of minds, many thoughts. The mind of Vivekananda is not mind of myself. As the mind, so is our thought. As the thought, so is our attachment. So the nature of attachment will be different. The nature of attachment will be different. The attachment of a mother may be different from the attachment of father. Father and mother both are parents. But if you see minutely, the attachment of a mother to the child may be different from the attachment of the father to the child. What is the intensity? How it is groomed with vairagya? So attachment is necessary, but attachment through detachment, that is the skill. Tena tektena bunjita. That is it is told in this is what is my humble submission. But I agree with Dr. TPS. I agree with Srivastavaji, and I agree with Honorable Bhattacharya, because problems will be there. Problems will be there, and 80% people are suffering from this psychological crisis. They live in their imaginary world. They live in past and future. Therefore, they suffer in the present. They never experience the present. They always experience the past and future. This is my but the Bhagavad Gita says be in present, do your Swadharma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Das. Well, from Dr. TPS and your response and Anurama Madam's question. Well, as Professor Sashikumar sir said that every present moment is an experiment, but this experiment has a sort of connectivity with the experience. So I should say that be in the present, taking the experiences of the past, because you cannot avoid the past. The experiences of the past, they do count in the experiment at the present. You are not the present all of a sudden. So take the experiment of the present with the experience of the past to ensure the future without having any expectation of the future. Well, Arjuna was confused about the future. He was pondering much on the future. But okay, having an experience of the past, experimenting in the in the present, well, we may have an expectation, but there is no concern that we'll be having it. Well, if the present is assured and done with the best of the skillfulness, then somehow the future is assured. A sort of expectation which Dr. Sasikumar's formula of triple E works here, I think. Well, this is
Dr. Rao,
sir.
Dr. Rao.
Sir, yes, sir.
Past and future are not a problem. Past and future are not a problem. From past we learn. From past we get experience. So that is necessary. Okay. So future orientation.
I am also
future orientation.
No. I am also.
Listen
I'm also happy. I'm also happy with the saying.
Future orientation. Orientation should be there.
Yes.
But we should not hang over. We should not be attached to that.
Yes.
If attachment is meaningful, that should be past and future should help us to be active in the present. If it is disturbed, like Arjuna, then it is nothing. Then that past is not good, that future is not good. That is my point.
Yes.
We shouldn't have, that attachment is bad attachment.
No. You are not attached with the past. You are not attached with the past, because if you are attached
we should not be. If
you are attached with the past, the present will be lost. That idea is there. If you are attached with the past, the present will be lost, because you are doing a new experiment now. This moment, you are going for a new experiment. But that experience is there, but you are not. You are taking that experience, but you are not. Say what you say. But the focus at the present, it's a new experiment. Okay, but that experience cannot be cancelled out. So, but if you have a focus on the past and the future, if you give an importance to that, the present experiment cannot be done in a neutral manner, number one, and the present as a new experiment will be lost. The very scope of the present as a new experiment will be lost. Okay, so that's how the.
And I loved one sentence of Dr. TPS, that the present is the moment of experiment.
It's the moment.
Very wonderful. This is very wonderful.
It's an experiment.
And the sentence of Srivastava that I loved it very much, that if we shall not manage time, time will manage us. Time will manage us. And I shall go with it, and Dr. TPS, that the present moment is the moment of experiment. But that experiment will be meaningful, will be significant if it is not biased by unnecessary past pullings and past memories, past attachments, vasana, I mean vasana. Okay, and future anxiety. You mark these words. Past vasanas and future anxieties. Don't be so much anxious about the future, because your consequence must follow your action. You should have orientation, but don't overthink that. Don't have a mental slavery. Mental slavery about the consequence is bad, because that will disturb the flow of your action in the present.
Yes, there is an agreement with all. Sir, thank you. There is an agreement with all. The focus is the present. The present is the most important moment of time. The focus should be on the present. We are going for a new experiment, as Dr. TPS said. Okay, the focus with the present moment. Well, even within the focus in the present, somehow naturally, even though we are not bringing in the experience mindfully, but the experience works because it has so much cultured without very existence. We cannot negate that experience. It is so much cultured. The mind has so much, as you say, transformed. That experience is not a negative experience. That experience is not a zero experience. It has nurtured our mind. There has been transformation. Already there is a transformation in the mind. Even though you are not focusing on the past, the mind has been nurtured to a new level, a new dimension, and the experiment is in the present. So, okay, in a natural way, the past is working. You are
And
the
another
focus
sentence,
is on the
Dr.
present.
TPS, sir, another sentence Dr. TPS sir said that our experiencing is always progressing. We are always in the progressive state of experiencing. Every moment I am a new person. Okay. Every moment I am a new person. Every moment my experience is novel. This is also wonderful, and I feel His benign presence. I am very lucky that in this evening He is present, and in this evening, unfortunately, I am speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. Dr. Maharana wants to say something. Well, Dr. Maharana.
No, I have nothing to say. Today I have learned so many things from Professor Das and especially from Dr. TP sir and Professor Srivastav and you. And today the presence of Dr. TPS has enlightened us to focus on this theme. And in course of the speech of Professor Professor Das had somehow said that every action should be done with mathematical calculation. But how every action could be done with mathematical calculation? Because we have been surrounded with so many limitations. So how can we transcend it? How can each action be done with mathematical calculation? I want a reflective answer from Professor Das or Professor Dr. TPS sir.
By mathematical calculation, I mean that when we are calculating the flow of time and the flow of events, that should be done very meticulously. That our enjoyment, our experience should not overlap the process of events. Mathematical precision should be there. Otherwise, we shall go back in time. We shall go behind the schedule of time, and we shall be attached to. We shall create our past memories unnecessarily. We shall always be in the past. We cannot reach the present. If we shall desire the desirable event more and more, that this event should not end because I love it, because I like it, then we shall be lost in only the past. We cannot reach the present. And present events do not wait for us. They will come and command that let us attend me, but we shall not be mentally ready to attend them because we are in the past memories. So do something as the sense of duty and come out of it. Come out of it in the course of time. Otherwise, you cannot attend the next assignment, then the next assignment, then the next assignment. Because as Dr. TPS said, that in 24 hours, we have so many assignments. How can we jump from one assignment to another assignment? Only because when we can live mathematically, very much mathematically means very precisely, very accurately. Okay, we have to manage with time. That proper management is the mathematical management. Otherwise, we shall be imbalanced. We have to balance our mind when we are dealing with events.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Das. What Professor Das wants to say, as I could understand him, is that our psychological time has to end up, or it has to be lost in the physical time. So he says the psychological and the physical times, they should move parallel. Once the physical time, you say, when you decide an event has ended, your psychological time should also end up with the physical time. That's what he's suggesting. Okay, that is the mathematical calculation.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
is
Yes,
mathematical calculation that he's speaking of.
yes.
Otherwise, you are not going to take you're mentally not prepared to take the next event. You will be losing the next event if your psychological time is moving. You are not enjoying the present. So that's just well, Professor Dr. TPS has something to suggest. Well, Dr. TPS.
I totally agree what Professor Das is saying, that we should have Sakshi Bhava. I am not
Yes,
involved
sir.
in
Yes,
things.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But the problem, I'll take same example that I am driving on the road. My karma is to reach somewhere, but there is an accident which happened on the road. Now, should I have a Sakshi Bhavam? Should I have to get into my action which is in my assignment? Or should I change my assignment? Why I am asking this is, today's most of the interviews which we do in the civil service selection committee, or maybe the emotional, intellectual quotient, how do they manage emotional intelligence? Many situations are given to test how do they take decisions. This is actually, there is no single answer, because it all depends on, should I have to leave that person who is in accident, saying that no, somebody will take care? Who is that somebody? Based on that person happened to be my closest relative, will I not stop? Though I am going to office, I have to reach at 9 o'clock to office. So this is always a conflict in common man's life. The mind management, mind control, decision taking, thinking what is to be done. Should I listen to my head or listen to my heart? Should I have an attachment? Should I have a Sakshi Bhava? All these are if and buts. I think there is no answer for common people for us. It is nice to say that, yeah, we need to have like this, but I doubt. Maybe Shankara himself did not had it. Though scripture wise, he must have assigned that and then said this is how. So that transformation to get into Sakshi Bhava is what we are all looking for. That is what is maybe Atmiyata. That is where I don't care. I can also think anyway, anybody has to die. It is his karma, let him die on the road. I don't care. No, that is not where we are living. I am taking care of my family. Two contradicting things. I am saying I have a duty to do. That means I have a future expectation. I have designed my duty based on what experience which I had. So my present duty involvement based on what experience and what job I have done, and my expectation what I am going to do it. Without these two, our life doesn't stop. So we have to look about a balanced role, goal, value model. I keep saying life is always a role, goal, value model. We are not an independent individual, because my karma, my dharma is not my individual karma and dharma. When I come to this philosophy family, I have a dharma. I am demanded to do this, so I am doing it. In my physical family, I have a dharma. So there also I have got a dharma which I am supposed to adhere to. When I am in an office, I have got an official dharma which I am supposed to adhere to. In a society, I have a different dharma. So my karma, dharma, everything has to be balanced. That is what Dashji told us, my duty. When you talk about duty, there is an expectation from me. There is a job which I am supposed to do. That is practical life, I think. So we are into this conflict, whether I have to be a spiritual man without any attachment, without any bondage, or should I have to have an attachment with all my bond. That is what is prarabdha karma. So as long as I have prarabdha karma, I cannot be a sakshi karma is not possible for me. That's what I feel.
Thank you
So
so much, sir.
one thing I shall say here. How can we define the present moment? I am going to attend the seminar or interview. So this is my present duty. So there is a, in this present moment, there is also a time series. It will take 30 minutes or 1 hour or 15 minutes of journey, car driving. Suppose I faced an accident on the road. Then that present moment, that duty of attending the interview became the remote present, and this became the present. Because the 15 minutes gap can be fragmented into 15 events, because we are passing through, we are not jumping. We don't, from my roof, I don't jump to the roof of the building where the interview is going to be held. I have to go through the road, and I have to pass the time of 15 minutes or half an hour. So that present assignment becomes the remote, and the accident that takes place, that becomes the proximate present before me. So I am there. I am there. So now the question is whether I shall attend the interview or I shall attend the man. That you have already given the answer, that which should be the priority. And when we are thinking of a priority, we shall go with so many things. We have to analyze if others are there to attend the patient. The patient can be shifted to the hospital. Then this is like here varies. The decision varies. Then I shall attend my interview, because that interview, that service is very much necessary for me, because if I shall get a service, I can give service to so many people. If there is nobody to attend that patient, then I may decide, no, I shall attend that patient and I let my interview get lost. So we are always in the present. If there is an agenda for the present, in between the time gap, we may have so many present moments accidentally. Not only that accident, so many things may come. Suppose a phone call will come that not the road accident, wife has fallen from the ladder. Then you will turn back to your home, because that is the present at that moment. So what is present, we have to decide. Not that I am going to a particular place, that is my present. In present, there are fragments of present. But there is no escape. We are always with the present moment only. If we bypass in the present to achieve the remote present, then we are doing politics. We are doing politics in our time management or mind management. And this is very practical, and this is subject to this decision will vary from person to person, because whether your service is so much important, if all the family members are dependent upon you, and if there are other persons who can take care of the patient, so many things will come. Therefore, it is contextual. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that in contexts are different, and you are placed in different contexts. So you can't have a fixed dharma. You can't have a fixed dharma. Therefore, Swadharma. Swadharma means what is your appropriate decision, appropriate action in a particular situation, in a particular space and particular time. Thank you, sir. The discussion will go on. So we shall discuss again and again.
Thank you, Professor Das. Well, one thing comes that the decision at the present and the primacy of the present depends on the culture of the mind. Okay, it's all on the culture, the transformation, the level of the mind that you have. It all depends on that. So, basing on that, the very moment can be taken differently by different persons depending upon the culture, the level of culture that they have undergone. That the example that you have suggested, when you say listening to your wife has fallen from the talk, it may be a very sorry state of affairs for you, but some may be say, well, thank God it has happened. I'm saying as a matter of joke. So it differs. So as a matter of joke, I'm saying, so it differs.
Sir, you know, this had happened to me.
Oh, it has happened to you. That's what I'm
It had
saying.
happened to me
It
when
has
my
happened.
wife was in ICU.
You gave a
I have
lecture.
delivered 2 talks in
You
University
have
of
given a
Tamil Nadu
lecture. Well, I said
on
on
the
the
hospital
lighter vein.
calendar, on the
I said
hospital
in a lighter
calendar.
vein, okay, something that may be
Because she was
see anybody unmuting. Well, let us thank everybody. Let us move to Dr. Kailash Mahana for proposing a vote of thanks. Dr. Mahana.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Rao. Today, Professor Das, Professor Pramod Kumar Das has managed the time and the event very intelligently in the absence of Dr. Tondon. And we must thank him on behalf of Philosophy Family because he has managed the flow of events of Philosophy Family very beautifully. And previously, he had also managed the events of Philosophy Family very beautifully. And when we are waiting him to listen his talk, and he managed, even if at the cost of his sacrifice for his wife, we have witnessed his time management. And today we are very much privileged to have Dr. TPS in this webinar, and it is also due to the event managed by Professor Das. Dr. TPS has beautifully given his observation on the term that is on this webinar, and the statement that every moment is the moment of experiment, and every moment is the progressive experience has motivated us and has inspired us to work further in our day-to-day life. And today, the observation of Dr. TPS, Professor Avinash Srivastava, Dr. Anurima, and Dr. Rao, and the responses made by Professor Pramod Kumar Das have benefited a lot. I don't want to have any appreciation for them. I simply bow down before such words of philosophy, and I extend my gratitude to them for their observation and for sharing their wisdom before all of us. And with this, I propose my hearty vote of thanks to all the viewers, those that remain present today till now, for their patience hearing for this beautiful talk. And I think this talk and the observation made by learned viewers must be very benefiting for the scholars of today's webinar. I don't want to speak more. I only bow down my head before Professor Dr. TPS and all other scholars of philosophy. Those have been the source of inspiration for all of us. With this, I would like to request Professor Pramod Kumar Das to wind up the session.
I also thank Dr. Mahana for coordinating this event, and also thanking all of us. Over to Dr. Pramod Das sir for a final close down of this event. Thank you, Dr. TPS. Thank you so much. And we are really sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We learned a lot from you, and you're a great source of learning for all of us, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Plus, and also think of our lectures, sir, in near future, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to Anurima's university next week. I'll be there 3 days.
Acha, sir.
North Bengal University.
Sir. For
these days, the physical travel started, so I'm not getting time.
Okay, sir. So whenever you find time, sir, well,